we're going. We're back.
Welcome to Fun with Friesians.
It's a beautiful day here in Maine. Probably one of the last no jacket on kind of days. Sun shining. It's a great day.
First day of hunting season with rifles.
Yes, it is. So no riding today, but that's okay. So we listened to your feedback about the poll, and we've decided to do this episode on how to pick the correct stallion for your mare. And we'll try not to get it too long because there's a lot into it, but we'll try to give you kind of a quick rundown of how to look at them kind of thing and go from there.
And then we're going to try to do an interactive Facebook.
Yes.
For the next time, so we can work together with questions and see what we come up with.
So yeah, one of the ladies who follows us made a suggestion of coming up with a mare. So my mare, Susan's mare, one of you guys' mare, if you wanted to. Sending all of the information over, registration number, breeding values, that kind of stuff. And giving it like a week and a half maybe, making a Facebook event about it so everybody knows when to come on and join. And then basically what you guys would do is you'd look at the numbers, you'd pick your, top 3, let's say, choices of a stud that matches that mare well. And then we'd kind of all join together on a Facebook Live and kind of go over what you guys came up with, and maybe you guys will pick stuff that we wouldn't even have thought of. So it'll be kind of a fun, interactive way for you guys to, join in on the conversation versus us just talking at you.
Right. And it's interesting when you're breeding and you talking to other people and get a flow of information. And it might help people come breeding season make good choices and good semen. No matter who you pick, you need to make sure that it's good semen. Yeah,
because even though it's November, up here we start April, May-ish, depending on how the spring goes. So wherever you are, if you're in warmer climates, you may not have to deal with the snow like we do, so you might start earlier. So we're not really that far away from breeding season. So basically what I did is, this video is going to be a little crazy just because I'm going to pick the phone up and try to zoom in on papers on the table. So if you get seasick, I'm sorry. But basically what I did is I printed off a bunch of the linear score charts off of the fauna page for some of the more popular stallions nowadays. And I tried to do a mix of the studs that are available frozen and fresh cooled. Some of them are available through Friesian connections. Some of them are available through their owners. One of them's available through
Black Pearl?
Yeah, but who's Cheba available through?
Oh, Cheba is available through Superior Equine.
Yeah, Superior Equine. So they're, so I tried to do a little bit of a mix of everybody, so we kind of touched on everybody, didn't hurt anybody's feelings, that kind of thing. So if we didn't pick your stallion, it's not because we don't like him. It's just I tried to get a variety of who's available. And I printed off a couple of my mares, a couple of Susan's mares. So we'll just kind of compare the charts, show you where this stallion might balance this mare out a little bit better, or where this stallion and mare just really don't mesh well together, that kind of thing. And we'll kind of go from there. So who do we want to start with?
Okay, I have right in front of me the beautiful stallion, Manta. Let's see, 490. He is by Beert, 411, and Anton, 343.
And he's a sport stallion, which means he's gone through all of his sport testing. He's got those scores that we talked about to get that predicate.
His was under saddle.
Yes, in the dressage ring. He is available. Actually, this breeding season was his first season in the U.S. He's available through the Stallion Station in, is it Michigan?
Yes, the Friesian connection.
In Michigan. And he's available fresh cooled. And why don't we look at him with Echo and Avita?
Okay.
So, fun fact here, Susan and I own sister mares. They were embryo transfers. So they're basically genetically the exact same horse. But build-wise, movement-wise, they couldn't be more different. So Susan's mare, Avita, is actually a crown mare. And the sister that I have, Echo, is a star mare. And Avita is a big mover, you know, very sport type, long lines, refined mare. And Echo is gorgeous. And she moves nice when she wants to, but she's a little bit more on the laid back side. You have to push her a little bit more. She's a great husband horse. My husband rides her. But, you know, it just goes to show you that even though they're genetically identical, they're very, very different mares.
Yeah, because those DNAs
The
together
genes go
differently.
together differently, and it shows. But they're both, you know, out of the, how do you say,
Borzog.
out of the Borzog mare line, which is a wicked cool line.
Stom 50.
Yeah, they have no less than a model mother all the way back to 1980.
Model and preferent.
Yeah. So, I mean, this mare line is a rockin' mare line.
As model preferent per stati, model and preferent. Okay, zippity doo dah, model and preferent, and then 1980 model and preferent.
So, I mean, that's a pretty astounding line. You don't see a lineup of that many model mares very often.
Because
So,
less than 1% of all mares, fractional,
Yeah.
full model.
So
it's pretty amazing.
pretty cool mare line. So you want to just do Avita and Miente's,
Okay.
you know, the numbers so we can
Sure.
see, because Echoes will be the same as Avita's.
Okay.
So,
There you go.
if I remember right, because I actually tried to breed Echo to Miente this season, and they've got pretty cool numbers. Your inbreeding coefficients are pretty low. The projected scores are pretty cool. Avita's
I'll show them what I'm doing.
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take the phone, guys, and I'm gonna try not to make you dizzy, but I'm gonna show you Susan's phone so you can see what she's doing. All right. I guess we're gonna have to do it this way because I don't know how to turn it around. There we go.
Okay. So I'm on the Fauna website, okay, and I've got my lovely little sister to Echo, Avita, right there. And there's her lines and all the information on the mare. So what I'm going to do is oh, I love this. I'm going to make it bigger because I'm blind. I'm going to hit the calculate interbreeding quotient, and we're doing Mienta.
Yeah,
Okay,
490.
490 is right there. And I'll make it bigger for you. See, there he is, 490, where he's standing. Okay, and then you hit calculate. And then, voila, there he is. He's right there, right? And right here, it's going to give me my interbreeding calculated within 5 generations is 0.98%. Right down here, it says you want it less than 5%, so that's really good. Interbreeding within 6 generations is great, 2.78%. Here's your kinship. They really want it, you know, low, but if you can get lower, by all means do it, but these numbers are really good. And then type, the estimated type for the foal, this is just the numbers being crunched together, is 104, the frame is 106, the walk is 103, feet and legs is 103, the walk is 106, and the trot is 106. And then in the very bottom, it's taking the mares and the stallions genetic testing for hydrocephalus and dwarfism. Your mare is tested positive for the hydrocephalus gene. The mating carries no risk of dwarfism or hydrocephalus. So the foal will be negative because the sire is.
So that's kind of a quick rundown of how you would calculate it on the first step kind of calculating it on the Fauna website. I think one of the mistakes that breeders might make is stopping there. Say, oh yeah, those numbers look good. That's going to be a good breeding. But to really go a little bit more in depth, I think you really have to look at the linear charts and compare the two mares, because that's where they come up with those 5 projected scores for the offspring. It comes down to the linear score charts for the stallion and the mare. So that's what we'll show you next. And I actually think, because I don't know how to turn you guys around, so it's a front-facing camera. I'm going to stop this video, start a new one with a front-facing camera, so I can see what you guys are seeing, because I don't know how that just came out on the phone because I couldn't see what you guys are seeing. So I'll splice this together in the YouTube video. All right, guys, we are back again. Sorry you can't see Susan and I, but we will talk at you so we can show you this. So here we have Miente's, or I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly, his linear score chart. Here we have Echoes, which is my mare. And then we've got, let's look at Evita's first, since we just talked about her. And we've got Evita's. So like I said, Evita is a crown mare. Really cool mare. So here you can see, these are broken down. I'll zoom in a little bit on one of them so you can see the text a little bit better. So you've got head, you've got the neck, you know, they really, really break it down. And basically, I don't know, Susan, how do these, the middle here is kind of the average?
Yes, 100 is good. And depending on what you're looking at, you would want it either going to the right or sometimes to the left is good too. But what we have here is the head, plain or noble. And Miente is a little bit over here at 99. Head and neck connection. So what you want to do is be able to say that the crown there is greater than a hand's length. You want a nice connection. His is 99 is okay. Length of neck, he's got a beautiful long neck. The horizontal or vertical. I know some people, depending on the purpose, some people like a more horizontal neck, but in general, the Friesian ideal is a more vertical neck, and he's 101. Shoulder length, you want a nice sloping shoulder, and he does have that at 103. The back, it isn't weak, it's a bit roached, but it's strong. His loin is a little roached, but it's strong. And the croup angle is over here a little horizontal at 97, which, that's good too. The croup length, he's got a long croup. His body is built uphill. Yay, uphill Friesian.
I was going to say, that's probably one of the biggest things they look at is uphill movements.
And you don't want a sickle hawk. Yeah. And length of forearm is long. And then you have here the front legs are straight. See how I say sometimes you want it over to the right, sometimes to the left. Is he standing under or is he straight? He's on the straight side. Sickle hawk. He is 97 for sickle hawk, and that's one of the things this last year the judges were impressing upon us to watch out for. So go check your mare's score on how the hawks are scored. Then we have the pastern length, short or long. It's nice and long. Shape of the feet, large. We have bone quality. Is it coarse or dry? He's got nice dry legs. And what this means, coarse and dry, people will say, what are they talking about? What they're talking about are the legs nice and without blemish. One of the things you don't want to see, wind puffs or, OCD lesion in the hock or anything like that.
Pop, splint, that kind of stuff.
So that's what it means by coarse or dry. And when you're showing your Friesian at the cur, the judges can't judge what they can't see. And if your horse has nice legs, leave the feathers, but get rid of any poof extra hair on the legs so that they can see them and judge them according to what's there.
So a lot of people will clip like from the knee to the top of the fetlock joint, leaving your feathers, but making sure those legs, if they are clean, are, very easy to see.
And you get a good score.
Yeah.
And color, faded black or jet black. He's jet black and he scored 105 on that. Hair, little hair or much hair. He scored 99 on that. Front legs, toed in, toed out. There's a little toeing in. He got a 93 on that. And then he did really, really good.
Yeah.
Walk length, 110. Long, beautiful walk. Walk strength, weak or powerful. Wow, powerful. He's got 109 on that. Trot, length, short or long, nice and long. Is his trot strength pushing? Once again, the horse's motor comes from behind. I know that sometimes people get all excited with front action, and you need to have action in your motor and the hind legs. He's got trot strength, 107. It is pushing, and it's much. His balance, 108. He's got beautiful balance, front and back. He's elastic at 108, much elasticity. His height is 104, so he has good height. And then we get the conformation breakdown, and the type was 103. The frame was 105. The feet and legs is 103. Walk 109. Trot 107.
And that's it.
Okay, he's a fabulous stallion. So when you compare him to the mare, Vita's got a noble head. The reason there's no blue marks here is she's exactly 100 on her head-neck connection is 100, which is the breed standard. Length of neck is good enough. It's 100. And she has a nice vertical neck. Shoulder angle is sloping. Back is a little roached. Her loins are just a touch roached. Rather have it a touch roached than weak. Croup angle, little horizontal. Croup length, she's got a nice long croup. She is built uphill at 104. Her length of forearm. Once again, if you have a mare with a bad length of forearm, it's over here on the left-hand side. When you're picking your stallion, you would want to go length of forearm, and his Mienta's length of forearm is a 102, which is still very good. It's on the other side, so that's a good cross. And then you want to compare, of course, the body uphill, downhill. He is also uphill. So, when you're going through, you want to compare to make sure what you're choosing. If you have a problem with a mare, let's go look at our favorite little thing from where's our sickle hawk at? Sickle. Hind leg stance. Are you sickled or are you straight? She's a 99. She's just on the other side. So when I go to my friend Mienta's, he's got a 97. So, one of the things, I wouldn't not breed to Mienta because of this, but you got to keep in mind, length of forearm, built uphill. Is the neck more on the vertical side? I know some people like a more horizontal neck, but I prefer a more vertical neck. And so when you're going down, you need to really compare the two to find a very good cross for your mare. It isn't just the interbreeding quotient. It isn't just the kinship. It isn't just the projected foal scores. You really have to sit down and break down your mare and say, and be honest with yourself.
Yes.
And the price of the stallion semen is pretty much all in the same ballpark unless you get into, buying frozen semen from like Superior Equine Sires where it's per dose.
Yeah.
But you really have to do your homework, and you need to ask the fertility and motility and the count on the stallion's semen. And then you got to be honest about your mare too. What is her conception rate? How many foals has she had, and has she had any problems with it, and how to best increase your chances of conception.
Who should we look at Merida with?
Oh, Merida's by Mienta, who is...
No.
Not Mienta, Minza.
Minza, there we go.
Sorry, it's by Minza, who is the sire of Chala, so we want to stay away from Johannes, I think.
Okay, so no Johannes. What about Cheb? Well, what about Cheba? How do you think she'd be with Cheba?
I bet she'd be good.
That's Hessel. That's who we might breed her to anyway. So let's look at somebody different. That's Johannes. We don't want that one. That's Matisse. Where is Cheba? Okay, guys. I'm sorry for the confusion. I have way too many papers going on my table right now. Hessel, Thorben, Johannes, Hessel. Hessel's got 2 pages because he's sport. Where did I put Cheba? Right there. Jeez. All right, so Cheba's going to be one of these that we were just talking about that is available through, what did you call it?
Superior Equine Sires.
So when I looked him up, because I actually think I'm kind of waiting for Rosie's linear score chart to come out, because she just got curd, so I haven't got it yet. They haven't updated it on the website yet. But I potentially might breed Rosie to Cheba this spring, depending on how their numbers work together. But he's available through Superior Equine Services. And I think when I looked, it was like $635 dose. And then I'm sure there's shipping and whatnot on that. But just for grins and giggles, we'll look at him. Let's put Stallion over here so we're consistent. We'll look at him with Merida. And Merida's score chart, I have to tell you, doesn't look all that impressive because this is her as a 3-year-old. So they only do this once. So whenever you take your horse, this is based off of their first curring. So this was her as a 3-year-old. No IBOP, I'd owned her for 6 months at that point, maybe, and didn't really know what I was doing. So this is, she's improved since this. She's a star mare now. This was her score just getting into the stud book. So as you can see, Cheba has a lot of the nice scores that Miente did. Really good performance scores down here. What is this, feet?
It's a little small.
His feet are a little small. He's uphill really nice. His head's a little bit more noble than Miente's was. He was a little bit faded black, which just might mean he was sun bleached a little bit. It happens. How are our hawks?
Okay, where are we? Blah, blah, blah. Sickle.
Yeah, so
just a hair.
Just a tick.
99.
So yeah, we would say probably his biggest weakness here is the shape of his feet, which
how's her feet?
Yeah.
That's the shape of feet.
Yeah, so they think hers are a little small too. But here if we look at length of forearm, for example, so they said, and Merida is short, she's 15.3, so she's a little bit on the smaller side as far as Friesians go. So they think her length of forearm is a little bit short with a 97. But if you look over here at Cheba, His length of forearm is, what'd they give him? A 101. So that would balance that out pretty good. You'd have a really nice noble head because they really like Merida's head. They like Cheba's head as well. So as far as not looking at inbreeding coefficients and whatnot, this cross would be a pretty good cross. The stud balances her out really well. The only thing, again, is foal might be a little bit sickle hawked, but in all honesty, I think that's a little bit hard to avoid, isn't it?
Well, you just have to work hard.
Yeah.
You have to, if your mare has sickle hawks and the stallion you picked, and it's substantial, don't breed to a stallion who's
very sickle hawked. Don't, if he's in the low 90s, mid 90s, probably pick a different stallion, just because it's improving your chances of getting a less sickle hawk foal. And you can see down here the performance scores. Merida did not walk at her curring. There's kind of a funny joke going on about a lot of the Mensa foals. People will tell you that Mensa never walked a step in his life. So it's just kind of a thing you got to deal with the Mensa baby. She walks now, hence why she got star the second time around. But you can see here at your performance scores, he would improve her frame slightly. He got a 104, she got a 103, so that would be fairly consistent. But frame, he has a 107, she has a 100. The walk is probably the biggest improvement. They gave her a 97 on her walk, and he has 105. So, that's, kind of a good glimpse at a stud that would balance out a mare, very well.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is, because we're just comparing charts, we're not really breeding them. We're just trying to show how you'd want to take a look. And sometimes the easiest way to do it is to print out.
Yeah.
And
I'm a visual person, so I like to look. But the first step is, like we said before, is looking at those inbreeding values, which Susan so handily pulled up on her phone over here. So we'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
So this is Cheba and Merida, too many M's.
5.27 interbreeding calculated in the first 5 generations. They want it below 5%. Interbreeding calculated within 6. Less than 6 generations. They're looking for less than 5%. Kinship. It's funny, when we did
Avita and
Mienta, the numbers were 0.098 for interbreeding quotient,
but 18% for kinship.
18.1, right. And then, very nice marks for walk, trot. And like Cheba, if you look at Cheba, down here, where does it live? Here's your Borzog line.
Yeah.
Borzog. And then another fabulous breeder, this is why I'm breeding Cheba to my mare Extra Moy, is here you go to Femke van Stal Zadelhoff, who's a star mare, but then you have Sneda line. Here's Frigga van Sneda, Prira van Sneda, and, oops, I know I hit the doggondest things. Deirdre van Sneda.
And the Sneda line is a really cool line,
awesome breeders.
So looking at charts, we would say, yeah, that's a pretty good cross. But then when we turn around and look at your inbreeding coefficients and your numbers, not so good. That wouldn't, that wouldn't be a good cross. You wouldn't be improving on the breed.
Because you're above what's recommended.
Yeah.
And sometimes, okay, let's face it, it's just so perfect. You do it anyway.
This is Susan talking from personal experience.
And then you just keep your fingers crossed
that it doesn't come out with 6 legs and 2 heads.
But the best thing to do is make sure you get them tested genetically to make sure you don't end up, because you get a 1 in 4 You know, if you have someone positive, 2 horses positive for hydrocephalus, 2 positive for dwarfism, you don't want to take the chance. But if you're interbreeding quotient, for me at least, I try to keep it. But if it's just like I'm driven beyond sanity,
if she's drooling,
then I do it. But I never go greater than what we just saw.
Yeah.
So
how about we do one more?
One more.
Who do we want to do? I've got Barentia for you. I've got Extra Moy for you. I've got Twerka for you. I've got Echo, Merida, and Evita.
Okay, we're gonna be super naughty.
Oh no, here we go.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Who do you want? Who do you want from this pile? From the mare pile?
Okay, I'm not even going to be that naughty because I really can't.
Susan decided to rein in the naughty.
I'm reining in my naughty.
So we've got Matisse.
I love
Or do we want to do Johannes?
He's so
everybody loves.
fabulous. Oh.
Okay, so Johannes, the Dutch judges, when Susan went to her level 1 judges training, absolutely love Johannes right here.
He's done so well with his foals.
He is a new stallion, recently, well, not super new, but more recently approved. He hasn't been approved on offspring yet, just because he hasn't been around long enough. So who do you want to put him with?
Oh, pick one of yours.
One of mine.
I like doing yours.
Well, your choices are Echo or Merida. I don't have the collection that you do. So.
Echo or Merida. Okay, I'm thinking. Oh, let's do an old girl. Let's do Twerka. Do you have Twerka?
Yes, I do have Twerka. I just got to find her. Sorry, guys. Like I said, there's Twerka.
Okay. All right. Just because it's fun.
So Twerka is Susan's mare that she's had for a very long time. She's a wicked cool mare. She's out of, how do you pronounce her dad's name?
Veered.
It's spelled
like
with
weird.
Spelled like weird, but it's pronounced Veered. So
I love him. He's a Folkert son.
So Twerka is wicked cool. She's 17 hands barefoot. She's like a giant. But she has literally thrown some of Susan's prettiest babies.
She's such a geek. I love her so much. Oh, I'm so excited. It's funny how the old mare can always make your heart just
and
go
one of our
faster.
friends, isn't Hollis out of him too?
I don't know. I'd have to look up Hollis. Really?
I thought she was, but maybe not. Maybe I'm losing my mind. So anyways, while Susan presses all the magical buttons on her phone to make all the numbers come out good, you got to look up Hollis.
I'm looking up Hollis now. You just did it. Yeah, Dan and Tim down at Mountain View Training Center have a Hollis, and I just now have to go look up Hollis. Star mare. Come on, Hollis. Come here, baby.
It's a horse person thing. You click.
Okay.
Oh, no, she's out of
Pete. Who's a Bartled son.
I had that one wrong. Anyways,
okay.
So here's the charts for the two of them. So Twerk is kind of cool because her lines are older. She's pretty easy to match with
she's a hoot.
stallions as far as inbreeding coefficients go, because she's not related to a lot that's out there now, which is nice. You know, Merida I have a little bit harder time because you know, her stallion is newer, you know, so she's related to a lot more of what's available right now. So I have a little bit, and in all honesty, my hardest one is Rosie, because she's out of Fritza, and it seems like everything that's available nowadays is related to Fritza in one way or another. So Rosie's probably my most...
It's like Cherk.
Yeah. Rosie's probably my most difficult. So as far as charts go here,
I'm still giggling.
This is pretty cool. So if we look at Twerka, she's on the right here. They gave her a week back, which is...
That's fine. She does.
Yeah, and it's very common. Very, very common.
I still love her.
That's why a lot of people will do the IBOT test, because sometimes the horses look a little weak in hand, but like Rosie looks weak in hand, but you put her under harness and she goes to work and you're like, holy moly, that's not the same horse. So another good reason to do the IBOT. But if you look over here at Johannes, if I can find his back. Johannes, yeah. Kendra hasn't got the silent J thing going on yet.
Yankees.
Susan's from California. I'm born and bred in Maine, so bear with me. So if you look here, they gave Johannes a 100 on the strength of his back. So that they would balance each other out well in that department. You would have a nice long neck. He would balance out Twerka's head a little bit because they said she's a little bit more of a plain head. Again, with the head to neck connection, which that would probably be a good place because they really pay a lot of attention to that head and neck connection. So such a differentiation in scores there would be, you know, a very good positive. Let's see. They really like her height, obviously.
Tall girl.
Yeah. You know, he would improve upon her as far as her trot length, her trot strength, her balance, all of that. His scores are much higher than hers are. You know, so he would balance her well there. Walk strength, is that his? No, that's front legs. So she would balance him front legs a little bit better. And if you look down here at the breakdown of the walk, trot, that kind of stuff,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good cross looking at the charts. But the moment of truth is looking at your coefficients.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
1.37%. In the first 5, 2.29 in the 6, and it says right here 6 generations, less than 5%. Kinship's 18, and I'll show you one of the reasons I would think. I'll just throw a bug in your ear. That's not a rude. It's sort of rude putting bugs in people's ears. Estimated breeding values: type 104, frame 101.
Look at that
feet and legs 102. Yeah, walk 102, trot 106. Here we go. See the dark ones?
That's their relation.
That's so. If you wanted less, let's say you wanted less Wessel, you probably would pick another stallion. I am wicked happy with all of this, and I'm very happy with what's down here, and it looks like a fabulous breeding.
I think it's going to be a cool breeding. So is that one that's potentially on the books for the springtime?
Yes.
So, and like I said, it might be on the books for me come springtime too. Depending on how Rosie's scores come back, because the inbreeding coefficients and whatnot with Rosie, with Cheba, I mean, no, we're talking Johannes now. Johannes, whatever. Don't listen to me. I'm still on Cheba. Okay. So.
Okay. What I'm showing here, now, first of all, always remember your mare lines are as important as your stallion lines. Don't forget that.
That's why they have a central mare show.
Yeah.
Because the Dutch feel that even though you have a stallion inspection and the stallion show, which is really cool and everybody gets excited about, they get just as excited for the mare show. That's usually what, in September? No, it's probably July, August. Yep. It's before our curring season starts.
The mare show goes before we get our currings.
When they come to our currings, they've seen all the phenomenal drop dead gorgeous mares over in Holland. So
and we've got to be just as good, if not better.
Yeah, but they're expecting some pretty high standards when they come across the pond.
So this is the Stallion Chart. There's 3 lines for the stallions: the Tetman 205, Aga line 168, and the Ritska line 202. And there's a P there for preference. So these are your lines. This is the Tetman line. And these, if you look right here, Beert, Dries, Hatza, Yissa, Allert, Maya, Pierre. Oh, I do too. Uwa, Chalbert, Bickel, Epka. You can go right here and you can see all the Tetman stallions. You can see how many of the Tetman stallions. This is the Tetman line.
So these are all the stallions that have been approved off of this original line.
Correct.
So
which is Yarrick and Mark. It's split to Yarrick 226 and Mark 232 preference. So this is your Tetman line. This is your Aga line. This is the rarest line. Aga 168 Gerka. So you come here and it pretty much disappeared until we had Franz 289, Mela 311, Faba 348. Here's Sapa 381, Tia 401, Yorn 430, and Alka 468. So sometimes when you're looking at stallions and you don't see the most incredible scores you've ever seen in your life, you got to remember that sometimes there's an effort to preserve some bloodlines.
So like anybody, you know, breeding their mare to Sapa, you know, that's going to continue that Aga line.
That's right.
You know.
But his mare line is Feitza.
Right.
So Ritzka 202P, here we go. We're just going to go for fun. Deutzen, who's a Wander son, Wander. And then you have Bienta 418 is there. Here we have Deutzen's son Saka, Sioka, and Bene 476, who's here in the United States. This is a Ritzka line stallion. So I'm just introducing you to this. This is the Stallion Pedigree with the 3 lines represented.
So those 2 or 3 books that Susan and I showed you in one of the first videos that had to do with the mare lines, this is kind of the stallion book.
So I really encourage people to learn their mare lines and to pay attention to their house. The stronger the mare line, with a very, you're just increasing your chances for a very good foal. Okay. Doesn't mean to worry about if you have a stud book mare, that's awesome. She can go preferent, and that is outstanding.
Okay, let's pause there. All right, we're back again. Flip the camera around so you guys could actually see us instead of just hear us. So yeah, you know, there's a little bit of a crash course in how to look at charts, how to look at numbers. It's not easy. You know, breeding these horses is a lot of work.
A lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility. So that's why, you know, a lot of people look at a Friesian foal for sale and say, oh my goodness, how can they want $10,000, $11,000, $15,000 for something that is 4 months old, 5 months old? But that's why.
It's intense statistical manipulation for the best quality foal you can produce. It isn't easy. And thank goodness that the KFPS stud book and fauna have all of this information at your fingertips.
Because it literally is. You know, you don't have to print all of these out like I so crazily did.
Oh,
you know, they're all available right on that fauna portal. Personally, me, I'm a visual person, so I like to be able to look at the chart side by side and say, yes, I trust the scores that you're telling me, but I want to see the stuff that you're not telling me. You know, the length of forearm, the weak back, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm one of those people that likes to compare them side by side. So, you know, but it's all available right there, you know. So I don't know.
It's a wonderful breed, and they're giving you as much information as possible to make a sound choice. And it does take some homework, but it's the best homework you're ever gonna do in your life.
So fun. I mean, Susan and I could sit here for hours talking to each other about who to breed to what and
who's getting qualified.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
I'm
very jealous.
I'm
very jealous of Susan that she gets to go to the Stallion show this year.
You want to get more jealous?
Oh no.
Oh,
she's going to burst my bubble right here.
My husband and I signed up for the free breeding lab with the stud book. I know, I just am off. I'll bring all the information to you, I promise.
I have to live vicariously through Susan.
I'll share it all. I'm so excited.
So that's super excited. So maybe that doesn't happen till...
I can give the information to you guys.
Yeah, that doesn't start till the beginning of January. So maybe we'll have to do a
repeat.
Yeah, an end of January, mid-January video about all that Susan learned at the Stallion Show. But she's going to bring me home a book.
I'm going to bring you home a book.
I guess I can forgive her.
I'll bring you a book. I'll bring you home the stallion breeding info too.
So, with that being said, I think we've probably stuffed your heads with enough breeding craziness for this video. But
interactive.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think for the crash course, we'll use Merida just because she's pretty easy. Nothing, yes, I love her, but she's not, she's nothing stunning as far as, crazy scores, that kind of stuff. So what I'll do is I'll post on the Facebook page, her linear score chart, her scorecard from her star curring, just so you guys can see what they think she moves like now. I'll post her a screenshot of her first, whatever the 5 generations are or whatnot that they do on the Fauna portal, so you guys can see that.
And a confirmation shot.
Yeah, and I'll post a confirmation picture and maybe a couple movement pictures just so you can kind of see what's going on there. And so I think basically what we'll do is you guys take that information that I give you, dissect the breedings, and it can be anything. You can do frozen, you can do fresh cooled, you can do available here, you can do not available here. Basically, any approved stallion that you want to play with, go for it. And what we'll do is we'll, say maybe 2 weeks-ish, depending on how that falls with Thanksgiving. From now, we'll do a Facebook Live where we can interact with you guys. I'll make it a Facebook event so you guys know exactly when it's going to happen, so you can be prepared for it.
And bring your mares, and we'll...
Yeah. So after we do Merida, you guys do the same thing as I did. Anybody who wants to volunteer your mare, let us know. Send me the information. We'll post it to the page. It would be great to see what you guys have out there too. I know Liza's owner, Claudia, contacted me and wanted Susan and I to give her some feedback on her mare. She wasn't quite comfortable with us kind of picking her apart on the video. But we're nice, I promise. We're not going to tell you your mare's trash, so don't be afraid of that, because if anything, we acknowledge our mare's faults more than anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't acknowledge what's wrong, you can't make a better foal.
Exactly.
You have to say, my mare Twerka has a weak back.
Yeah.
She's star. She's got full paper, but whoopsie. So I've got to make sure the stallion, being critical in your barn only helps the breed.
Exactly.
We all know you love them.
And that's like Merida. I love that horse dearly, but
you need height.
She got a weird brain sometimes. Not sure how we can fix that one, but she got a weird brain. She's short.
I want to name the next one Maleficent. You think I can sell that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd buy it. If you bred it, I'd buy it. But, she's short. She doesn't walk.
She's star height.
Yeah, she's actually croon height. Funny.
She's...
Fun fact, she's croon height, but she can't walk. So, we all know that there's places that our horses need improvement on. And in all honesty, you being willing to embrace those areas of improvement is what makes you a good breeder.
Right.
The fact that you can look at your horse that you love so dearly and say, you need to work on this, honey.
Right. It's a croon mare, but I'm not going to breed to a horse that's got a high sickle hawk score. If I've got a 99 or 98 for sickle hawk, I'm going to look for a good-legged horse.
Right.
It's just being honest.
Right. So don't be afraid to send us your mares. I promise you we won't hurt your feelings.
She'll duct tape my mouth.
We'll try not to hurt your feelings. I guess I shouldn't promise that. But
Susan, shut up. Okay.
But we'll be nice. We're not going to use and abuse you. And it would be a great learning experience for everybody involved to see some of the different mares out there, especially if you have some of the cooler, older line mares, or even some of the newer stuff, like some Julius mares, or, some of these stallions that we are not seeing a lot of their babies on the ground yet because they've just started. So there's only so many horses Susan and I can own. So you guys need to let us use some of yours.
Yes, please. And please feel free, if you're not a member of Fauna yet, or let's say you have a Friesian mare that's a KFPS Fauna mare, and you haven't yet joined, or for whatever reason, don't be shy. We're willing to help you. I encourage everybody to be a member of Fauna and the KFPS.
$140 a year.
And
best $140 you'll spend.
It's bang for your buck.
Or $180, I think, if you want to be a business farm breeder membership.
And get your mares genetically tested.
Yeah, super easy. There's a form right on the Fauna website. Now, Fauna is doing a new webpage here. It's supposed to launch here sometime soon, so not sure where it'll be on the new webpage. But there's a form right there that you can fill out. You pull out, I think it's like 20 mane hairs with the follicles still intact. Tape it to the paper, mail it to Fauna. They mail you a letter saying this is what it's like.
Because then you can choose much more wisely.
Yeah, super easy and super important too, because when we get into the little bit more controlled breeding of these breeds, trying to preserve them, you do have these genetic issues crop up just because it's a smaller gene pool.
And also, you've got to remember that the Friesian horse is open and admits what's going on.
Right.
There are some breeds they don't discuss things,
right?
Certain lines or whatever. So, you know, there's a different attitude. It's like, you know, show what you got, show what the issue is, and fix it.
Kind of like showing your dirty laundry.
Not there, yeah. Because we all know we have breeds out there that they don't follow up with it.
So embrace the areas that your mare or your gelding or your stallion needs to work on. Don't be afraid of them. It doesn't make your horse a bad horse by any shape of the word. And have fun with them. And so I will post Mara's information probably Monday. Probably not going to have time to get to it this weekend because I have a crazy weekend before the snow comes.
Okay.
So on that note,
have fun with Friesians.
And you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend.